Welcome to Wonder Mom, where I share tips, thoughts, and tools to help you live a more productive life so you can focus on the things that really matter to you. In today's episode, I'm going to be sharing 10 characteristics of goals and how goals benefit you. So if you have stopped setting goals or New Year's resolutions for any reason, you'll want to stay tuned. I remember a conversation I had with someone who told me they just never set New Year's resolutions anymore. Like, they found that they never work. Almost as if a New Year's resolution were a kind of penny wish that you drop into a well and you hope for it to materialize. But it really made me stop and think, because goals are really, really good for your life. I found this just through personal experience of living for quite a long time, never setting any goals in my life, and then setting goals. And the difference has been astounding, amazing. And so I wanted to share today 10 characteristics or 10 things that you need to know about goals and how they can really benefit your life. So the first point is that goals need to be written down. And the reason I say this is because writing your goals down, the mere act of writing your goals down, increases your ability to achieve that goal by 42%. That is a fact. A lady from the Dominican University did a study on different participants to do with goals, and there was a group. They tested different people in different groups, and the group of participants who wrote their goals down had a 42% higher goal achievement rate than the people who didn't. That's just crazy. Like, if that's almost half. If you can increase your ability to achieve your goal by almost half just by writing it down, you bet your bottom dollar I'd be writing my goals down all the time, right? I wouldn't just put my goals out there and just say them and then hope that they would be done, like they would come about. I think you're not giving your goals the best chance of success if you do that. So write your goals down. They need to be written. That's number one. Number two is that goals are not dreams, wishes, or even resolutions. Now, I know towards the end of the year or the beginning of the new year, January 1st, everybody is beginning to set resolutions for the year ahead. But the reason why, and I think this is why my friend says she doesn't set goals anymore, is because she's set resolutions in the past and they haven't come about. That's because a goal is not the same thing as a resolution. They're completely different things. A goal is almost like a battle plan or an action plan for achieving an outcome. A resolution, well, it's the word resolute is like, this is what I want to do. It's like you're resolving to do something, but until you put it down on paper, tip number one, and until you have a plan of getting there, your resolution isn't yet a goal. It's a resolution. It's a declaration of what you want, but it's not yet a goal. And that's why resolutions are not goals. And also the same reason why dreams and wishes are not goals is because dreams and wishes don't have action plans backing them up to turn them into actionable goals. And that's what you want. You want an actionable goal, which is why dreams and wishes are not goals. The third one is that goals direct your daily planning. If you have a goal and it's actionable in the sense that you can see the actions that you need to take to move you toward that goal, those actions would direct what you do each day in, day out in your week. You know that if one of your goals is to jog a mile 3 days a week, then you know that you're going to do an action that relates to your goal because you can see the actions in your goal. You've got them planned out, and your goal should affect your daily planning for your week. So that's number 3. Number 4 is that goals give you purpose. When you have a goal in your life, you have something that is directing you in a particular area, and that gives you a lot of purpose in your day. If you know that you've got to achieve this goal, then it really helps you to wake up in the morning, jump out of bed, and get started, especially if that goal is something that really excites you, which I recommend you should set goals that excite you. But it gives you a purpose, and that's really key to your personal happiness. When you have something purposeful and meaningful in your life, you're a lot more happier than somebody who doesn't. So that's number 4. Number 5 is that it improves your quality of life for that reason, going back to number 4, because you have a purpose, because you have something that you are working towards in your days, in your weeks, and in your months. You have a better quality of life because you're forward looking, and because you're forward looking, that also helps you to become more optimistic because you are hopeful about your own future. So you improve your quality of life just by having a goal. Number 6 is that it builds your character. Now, if you have ever had goals in the past, or you ever set resolutions in the past and you failed, you are not alone. I think everybody who sets goals fails at their goals. There's never been a year where I've achieved every single one of my goals. But that's not a bad thing in and of itself, because the process of going through goals or even failing at goals helps you to build character, because it's through the process of striving or working towards something, and even when you don't achieve it, learning from that helps you to build your character, which is so key to your personal growth and your personal development. So that's number 6. Number 7 is that goals strengthen your critical thinking. Now, the way that goals do this is, if you're setting a goal that is a big goal, chances are you wouldn't have done it before. And if that's the case, you need to start getting creative about how you're going to achieve the end result of that goal. If it's a big goal like writing a book or taking your family around the world for a whole year, you're going to need to start thinking creatively about how you're going to achieve that goal. And that's why it says it strengthens your critical thinking, because it starts firing off pathways in your brain to get you thinking outside of the box. You're going to need to do things you've never done before, so you're going to need to think differently. So that's number 7, it strengthens your critical thinking. Number 8 is that goals generate happiness. Now, if you're somebody who's always failed to achieve the resolutions in the past, you're thinking, no, they don't. They just cause me complete misery, and that's why I've put away with them. But the reason why I say they generate happiness is because there have been several studies on happiness, and one of the pervading themes is that happiness is a byproduct of making progress toward a desired outcome. So it's the progress that you make in your life that generates happiness in your life. And by setting a goal, you're actually helping yourself to generate happiness as you make progress toward that goal. Obviously, happiness is not generated if you just don't make any progress at all. But happiness is generated as you make progress towards your goal. And that's why I say it generates happiness, because it can. And if you have a growth mindset, which is something that I talked about in one of my previous episodes, which I'll link down to below, then you'll know that even if you have a negative circumstance, like you failed to achieve a goal, that is not necessarily a bad thing. You can grow and learn from that and move forward and take your learning forward with you. So that's number 8. Number 9 is that goals build confidence. Again, this is going back to achieving your goals. So if you have a goal and you have achieved it, it builds your confidence. You're thinking, wow, I actually accomplished that goal. What else can I do? Maybe I can do something even bigger, even better. And what happens is that when you achieve something, even if it's just an action step towards your goal, if it's a little stepping stone or a milestone towards your bigger goal, just the fact of achieving that generates confidence, and you start something called the competence loop, which is a psychological term just basically describing how the more you do something and the better you get at something, the easier or the more likely it is that you will achieve that, which then cycles along the loop of you'll become more confident, you'll get better at doing that thing, and then you'll achieve that thing a lot more, and the cycle continues and grows. It's called the competence loop, and that's why goals help you to build your confidence as you achieve the actions or the to-do lists related to your goal, or as you complete the milestones, or even as you complete your goals. So that's number 9. And the final one that I wanted to mention is that setting goals actually help you to set even bigger goals. When you look at maybe people you admire, your mentors in your life, and you think, oh, wow, they've done this or they've done that, the likelihood is that they didn't start off achieving that big thing. Bill Gates didn't start off, or Richard Branson didn't start off with 400 companies. He started off with something a lot smaller, but as he achieved the goals along the way, he set his sights for bigger and bigger goals. And that's what goals help you do. When you achieve the goals along the way, you can build your confidence and set yourself even bigger goals going forward into the future. And you can achieve amazing things just by completing the goals that you create for yourself along the way. So I hope you've loved these 10 characteristics of goals, things you need to know about goals. Let me know what your comments are, which of these 10 points you like the most in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure you click like and hit subscribe so you can get future videos coming from me at Wonder Mom. Until next time, I'll see you for another episode of Wonder Mom Tips, Thoughts, and Tools.